All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I'm merely Beau. He is the great Z. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. It's just good to be with you. See the sun again a little bit. It's nice out there on a very nice Tuesday, getting ready for a first Friday tomorrow. And then I feel like we're off to the races, brother.
Tuesdays are a drag, man.
Tuesdays are – I think Tuesdays are worse than Mondays.
1,000%. I don't even know how anyone would argue the opposite.
You never hear I've got a case of the Tuesdays, though.
No,
Everybody talks about a case of the Mondays.
Tuesday's where the problems lie. I think Monday, you're coming off a weekend. No one wants to go back to work, but you're rejuvenated. And in the medium that we're in, there's usually fresh things to discuss. There are things that happened over the weekend. By the time you get to Tuesday, I said, you're going to get, on a 1 to 10, you're going to get a 6 out of me today, Gibbe. That's all you're getting is a 6 performance. Just a D plus.
And not every day can be award winning.
Just a D plus performance out of me.
Manage expectations.
That's what you're getting right now, like a 68%, something like that. That's where you're at. So we'll see. I think the other thing about it is it's Super Bowl week. It's normally you would have media day today. Today would be the media day, the big media day
huge.
at the Super Bowl.
Huge.
Everyone's there and all of the pomp and circumstance. You guys ever been to one of those? You've been to those, haven't you, Gibby? Super Bowl media day?
I have never been to a Super Bowl or a Super Bowl radio row. I have no
That
interest.
seems impossible with your career, that you have not been to a Super Bowl radio row or a Super Bowl media day.
Nope.
Yeah,
I
I've been.
I have not been to Super Bowl.
Huh.
I have no interest unless my team
Well,
were there, I think.
I think you'd have honestly less interest if your team were. It's from a fan perspective. I said this a lot. It's not really a fan of the team experience. It's here's the NFL world in one place, kind of like the Combine, except then all of the other superstars of the world are there too. So there's that. It's just a big party around it. That's extraordinary. But you've been to a media day, right, Z?
I've been to a media day, and I've been to the radio row way back in the day. I was at the radio row for the Dallas Super Bowl, Pittsburgh, Green Bay. Were you down there for that?
No.
Oh, God, it was rotten.
Where was that? Was that in Dallas?
So some of it was in Dallas,
Oh,
some of it was
that
in
was the
Fort Worth,
frozen.
and it snowed and was frozen, and they don't have salt. They have none of that.
They're not.
They put sand out on the roads. So I did multiple spins out in my rental car because,
what is this?
what are we doing here?
Why are we
this is
having
not
sand?
acceptable. It was rotten, and then turned out to be a nice game for. And then Chucky Wood, you see Chucky Wood's. Everybody's talking about Burrow, and they're leaving out the part that you always include, which is Heisman Trophy winner, national college championship, Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
And Chucky Wood's done that.
He has done that. Yep.
But he wasn't the number 1 pick.
But he was not the number 1 overall pick.
That's right.
Yeah, the number 1 overall pick is what separates that. Woodson has done that. So I've done several of these. What I would say is craziest about Super Bowl Media Day, now we've gone 2 years without one, is the scope of human being
From around the world
that you will see.
Yep.
So you will see at Super Bowl Media Day, you will see, obviously you would see Chris Berman doing his gimmicks. He would always go up and do that. And there'd be a bunch of people around somebody, and he would just jump in and push his way through and bully and get somebody in. You have every, local television, newspaper, radio reporter. They're all there. Then you have, the international press.
which are the best.
And, for example, I'll never forget Super Bowl, the one of the Patriots and the Rams. I can't remember, it was 36 or something like that, the one in New Orleans after 9/11. The first time I saw Inez Sainz, who's at the time was TV Azteca, defied logic that this person was here. It made no sense that she would ever. I was 21. What am I doing in the same spot as this woman? We're not the same species. And so that I remember that. And then you would also see, because what also started to happen is MTV and those type of things in those days, they would send celebrities as reporters.
Yep.
So wrestling personalities sometimes would be on a mic interviewing somebody. You'd see somebody. I remember bumping into what's Russell Wilson's wife now? Sierra. She was doing something at the Indy Super Bowl, and her and I were trying to get the attention of the same player. And I thought, what are we doing? What is this? This is the craziest. There are guys dressed as Vikings.
That day's nuts.
It's crazy.
It's farcical. It's farcical. You don't get really
No, but I think that's the story. Is that
Right.
though? It's not. You're not
It's
getting
the circus
anything.
of it. Yeah.
And honestly, what I did kind of like about it and appreciate as I went to more of them is the notion of everybody knows you're not going to hear anything you have that hasn't been said. Everybody understands that. So let's just have fun with it.
Let's have fun. Right.
And they did. And then that's so by the time you get to Indy, which is the second to last one that I've been to, when the Indy Super Bowl where the Patriots beat the Giants, you were there.
The Patriots wanted to have beaten the Giants.
I'm sorry, yes. The Giants beat the Patriots. That's the Manningham
For the
catch down the
second time.
sideline. Yeah, they got him twice.
What a dime.
By the time you got to that, they were allowing fans to go into media day. Do you remember this? Like they had it at Lucas Oil, and there were fans in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
That
Like
is
they were like
crazy.
behind ropes.
And then you'd get like PFT commenter and those guys sneaking in and asking questions in disguises.
Well, that was Portnoy was banned at that time.
Yeah,
probably
right.
still is, but he was banned at that time because of the Deflategate
Deflategate.
stuff.
Which Tom Brady acknowledged on Instagram and put the Prez in a mental pretzel.
Oh, I did not. Oh, that's right.
Because
he did not like that.
in the
I did-
morning, he hated the way that Brady just did not acknowledge New England and went on a tirade. And then later in the day on Brady's Instagram, he acknowledged them and said soldiers for life or something about those four. And Portnoy was like, I don't even know how to deal with this anymore. Like, my head's in a pretzel. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So, yeah, you had all of those things with Super Bowl Media Day that you miss out on. So I think that's why it doesn't really feel like it's Super Bowl week to me.
And being on a Zoom yesterday does not make it, although there's a great moment on a Zoom, which I know we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But it did not make it feel like, right, the Super Bowl week.
No.
Gibby, I can't believe that Radio Row, imagine like our teeny little area at the Combine that we go to where there's just like radio setups like that. Imagine that times like, and I'm going to try not to exaggerate, like times 50.
So it's changed. The first year I was at Radio Row would have been 2002.
Okay.
And at that point, it was in New Orleans, and it felt like it took up a mile of convention center.
Yeah.
Every radio station in the country was there. Like Mike and the Mad Dog had a set.
Yes.
Jim Rome had a set.
Oh, yeah.
Dan Patrick had a set at that point. That was mammoth.
Now they
Mammoth.
have those in their own
Now they
off-site
have their
areas.
own off
Right.
sites, but in those days, the true Radio Row, it was just every radio station in the
But
country
it's like
was there.
at a minimum
This-
that entire space that we're in that encompasses all the fan stuff, the bench press area,
All
the
of
whole,
that.
all of that, easy and probably
Full.
more.
Full
Yeah, full.
at the height of it. Now I don't know if it's that way anymore.
It
I
used to
don't
be.
know if
and
it's
then anybody that you've ever seen in your life on a television screen is walking around and they sit down and they say the same thing, and then they go sit down and they say,
Yes.
and everybody who's selling a product
And
or
that's-
so that's
I've done the
it's
radio
nonsense.
rows. I just haven't done the Super Bowl. Like I've done Grammys backstage,
Sure.
American
Of course
Music
you have.
Awards.
AMAs.
I've done, I've done NCAA Final Four, things like everybody's selling their stuff, and you're flying around. I can remember I was doing battle with Bubba the Love Sponge.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
That
yeah.
guy.
He was always there. He was always at Super Bowl Media Row
He
too.
was a big deal. His producer and I were fighting to get Bon Jovi. I was nobody, he was somebody, and Bon Jovi came with me.
That's right. That's right. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not at all surprised
maybe
by
the
that.
foresight to
There's
see
a-
that there'd be
there-
a precipitous fall
Pretty solid. Yeah,
It
quite.
might have been a little.
for the sponge.
There's some history.
Yeah,
The
certainly
Hulkster.
did.
Brother.
Hulkster, Howard, all of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You blew it, boy. Yeah, so it has all of those things. The other thing that was always crazy about it was, like, I just remember the Jim Rome set up. Like, his set was like the Tonight Show set. It was even bigger than that. It was like the Merv Griffin set of Seinfeld.
And I don't know
How
if he
big it
was on
was.
TV at that point.
I don't think he was.
It was just radio.
Just
I
come sit
think
on
it
my
was
couch.
just radio, and it was it just took up everything. And you're right, Z. Like everybody who's ever done anything in the NFL is there. They're all tied to a product
all of
that
them.
they're pitching, and they would almost be like, well, would you like to talk to Jerry Rice? Well, yeah. Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Have a seat. Let's talk, Jerry. And so then you would, and you'd do that, and then
You
he'd
have
go
8
on.
minutes.
And here's Roger
the
Staubach,
card.
and
This
here's
is what you have to promote.
okay. Here's somebody else doing this. And for some reason, I remember I want to say like Salon Pause. Someone was pushing that. I don't even know what that is, but someone was pushing that product at one
Oh
point.
yeah, you had people from The Sopranos. I remember were always
Yeah.
walking around slinging products. When Browns Daily used to go to Super Bowl every year, in its
Well,
early
Carucci,
years.
I
'cause
remember
of,
interviewing him.
Victor, Uncle Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would get him there, but then that
Are
ended.
we going to see Uncle Vic in a few weeks?
At the Combine?
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't but he retired from one, but he's still doing some stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you will
know.
or not. I'm
gonna have to
curious
reach
what
out
that
to
looks
the
like
Notorious.
in a month, in a few weeks. What does the combine look
How about
like
that?
compared to that? I don't know.
3 weeks combine, 5 weeks free agency. Wrap
Yeah.
your head around that.
Yeah.
Coming quick.
What I think is incredible is that when you look at what's going on with the Super Bowl and the fact that instead of having – now, I know they are going to have Radio Row, but everything was virtual. And at the Combine, it's not going to be.
It's not virtual at the combine.
I don't believe that these
As of
interviews
now,
are on
no.
Zoom.
So like the coaches are going to do like media gaggles.
Yep.
And the GMs are. Come on, that's not happening.
It must
That's
be if
3 weeks difference.
If you're
It's
going to have
be
Radio
different?
Row, that means people are coming over
Don't
and sitting
forget,
down and going on the air with
California-
you, right?
Indianapolis.
No, I understand, but it's still the NFL.
Right.
The NFL.
It's the NFL. Like they're not. They're the ones who are going to set the rules, not the state of Indiana. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I'll be interested to see what that's like. If that's the way it's going. Like you have fans in there with the athletes.
No, I can't
I
imagine
can't
that's
imagine
gonna
that
be the
part of
case.
it.
Your
But,
fan
I mean, you're
experience
walking
is
around.
gonna
You
be
know how it is
shrunk.
there. Everybody's walking around everywhere in the convention center. Everybody can walk around in the same areas.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't have, Chris Olave doing the
Right.
bench and then a bunch of fans walking around by him. I mean, you can't have that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Going to be fascinating. But the Super Bowl in terms of does it feel like it? No, not really.
No.
Last night it was like a pep rally in Cincinnati.
Okay.
that was cool of them.
With one of the greatest moments ever, CJ Uzama becoming quickly one of my favorite guys.
I missed it. What did he do?
And not only that, the WWE should be scouting this guy immediately.
What did he do?
So he walks out, and he sprained, I think it was his MCL or whatever. He couldn't finish the AFC Championship game early in that game. He got hurt.
Yep.
It was kind of a big loss for them. And so he comes out onto the stage at the rally, and he's got his big leg brace on, and he's limping around with his leg brace because mobilized really in this brace.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Do you think I'm missing the biggest game of my life?" And rips the brace off, throws it, and it's like, "Let's go!"
Oh, boy.
And it was
That's
It was
great.
pretty fantastic.
it was awesome.
That's great.
It was awesome. So
That's
that
great.
made me. I was actually texting with one of my buddies. He goes, "All right, that settles it. I have to root for the Bengals in this game."
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of
I like both of these teams. Like, I'm just pumped. I want a great game.
yeah.
I want it to come down to one of the two quarterbacks. I don't care which one, honestly.
Yeah.
Down 5. 5 feels like a good number for it to be at.
It's like a good number. Yeah.
With the opportunity to go and win the game. And that's what I want to watch.
Yeah, you feel like the NFL has delivered all of it. I hope this game certainly feels like it's hard for me to imagine either one of these teams running away from the other, and so it should
be
play
great.
out that way. Yeah, and hopefully that it will. Go ahead.
Another reason why I think this feels a little off is that I think that it felt like there was a complete lack of football this weekend. And normally, and I'll go back to it. Listen, I'll be a get off my lawn guy. In the olden days, when it was in Hawaii, the Pro Bowl felt like a bigger deal. It did.
100%.
Did you
It was
see?
after the season,
Yes.
first of all, so it was
Right.
after the Super Bowl. So then everybody played in it.
Everybody, all of them.
Right? Everybody played in it. You weren't having guys in and out. You had the full group. And I think that just the economics of the sport were different. So it was like a free vacation.
And a little bonus, I think.
And a
They
little
got
bonus to
yeah.
it. And you got a free vacation. You put you up at the Grand Wailea and you have a great time. And play in the game and you bring your family and all of those things. And so I think, now, guys, at that time, a free trip to Hawaii was a big deal.
Sure.
For your family. And now I don't know if it is as much for guys
I
anymore.
think it's still, I mean,
I would still think it would be a fun
because it's
deal.
Hawaii. Like, you don't go to Hawaii all the time, but Vegas
Right.
is very easily accessible and probably gone to quite a bit. By the way, I was going, on Twitter, I follow a lot of old Niners, and there was Randy Cross
Sure.
tweeted a picture out. I think it had to be 84 because Wendell Tyler made the Pro Bowl that year, who was the running back
Yep.
when the Niners won in 84. There were like 12 Niners in the Pro Bowl that year. Like 12.
Yeah.
It was a picture of they could have fielded a side of the
An
ball.
entire team, yeah. That probably felt about right
It was nuts.
based on those teams
Yeah,
at that time.
craziness.
But
But hey, I was saying, did you see the number for the Pro Bowl?
No. Can I guess it?
Yeah, please.
7.1 million.
Gibbe?
I'm looking at it right now. So
Oh, you pulled it up? What is it?
6.7. Bravo to you. The lowest since 2006.
But
But better
probably
than the NBA All-Star
far and
game.
away
Yeah.
bigger than anything else all weekend in sports.
and
What was second this
it
weekend in
would have been-
sports?
It would have been the third highest when you compare it to the MLB playoffs and the World Series. It would have been the third highest broadcast this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's
Football's
no.
king.
It's so like we will consume any of it, and it's funny because I don't know anybody who watched it, and then the number is always right around there. It's between 6.5 and 8 million, and you go, well, God, everybody says it stinks, but it still is watched.
Yeah, the Olympics had 6.67 million
Okay.
viewers across NBC.
Can you? I don't know if this. I don't know if there's a more appropriate image that I saw than the one I saw last night. As Amy was watching with the boys, and they're doing the ski jumping, and they've built a ski jump. Okay.
Oh my God!
And they built it next to a nuclear reactor, like 3 nuclear reactors with
It's
Beijing
spectacular. I
22
love
next to it. It looks like a nuclear waste dump.
Waste.
Like, is this
the ground is gray?
is this the Olympics? And the answer is yes, it is. Yes,
Nothing to
this
see
is
here.
what the Olympics are.
I think
what a clown show
It's
that
been
is.
tarnished. There's no
Oh.
doubt. It's not like it was when we were kids, and not to
Well-
be like again an old guy, but it's true. The prestige is gone. It's the
over.
venues are absurd. I mean, that picture is one of the most
The-
ridiculous things that I've ever seen in
I
my
feel
life.
like the Americans are struggling a little bit.
I don't
Maybe
even
that's
know.
a big picture look, but every
my
time
wife
I
keeps
turn it
trying to
on,
get
I've
me to
watched
watch,
an American tumble or do
and I'm like,
something they shouldn't.
I really don't care. I just can't get into it.
I did watch about 3 minutes, and let me tell you something. The Italians in the mixed doubles curling are electric.
They were all
They're
over
an
it, huh?
electric factory.
Oh, she's the one who's yelling.
They both do a little bit of yelling. Not as much
Okay.
as the Swedes that they were taking down, but
Okay.
they are just so good. But that's one where I'd like to see normal people do that so that you can, again, like the control they have on these things is bonkers. And I think if you and
Have
I
you
went out
done
there,
curling?
I mean, no, I've done shuffleboard.
I've done it. I've done the curling.
Very difficult, I'd imagine.
Very. What you don't understand is to be able to glide with it. I remember I just kept falling. Like to be able to glide with it because it's heavy. It's really heavy. And to try to steer it, you really have
Well,
to
and
glide
they're like,
with it.
and they
Well,
never
down
touch
there-
it, and they're right
Yeah,
on it.
That part you could do. It's this part
The
that's
initial
that's
slide?
tough. Yeah,
Wow, they
that's
make it
the
look
part
so
that's-
graceful.
Yeah, they do. Before we get out of here in this first segment, much love to our buddy John Telich at Fox 8.
Yes.
Signed off last night. 41 years. I don't have a ton of interactions with him personally. A lot on social. My wife used to work at Fox 8, and he is one of the best dudes ever. Period.
Humans.
One of the best dudes ever. I mean, in my experience, Gibby, I'm sure you know him much better. Zibby,
Every interaction
Z
I've ever
probably as
had
well,
with him, all
the
class.
best.
Yeah, such a nice guy. Very positive.
Yep.
Just a pro's pro. I mean, the number of people that have reached out with notes that he's written them or things that he said. He and I have had a number of conversations about things, and he's definitely the guy that sits back and takes it in and then formulates an opinion. And he's really he's one of the nicest people.
Yep.
In a business that once in a while can be a little cutthroat.
Well, certainly, and there's a lot of ego that comes with some of those type of
And never has.
situations, and egoless. Yeah, and I like what he said. Got to go out his way. I just was great. It's great. So congratulations
41
on an
years.
incredible career. Yeah,
Solid.
that's a run.
That's a run, dude.
It's a big time run, Coach.
Touch 5 decades.
Yeah, that's really, really incredible. We'll go around the league coming up next. I have an idea that I don't understand why it hasn't been done yet in regard to the Super Bowl. We'll get to that, too. Plus, we'll go around the league. All the coaching positions have been filled. We're off and running here on a Tuesday. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The myths can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. We'll get into the coaching stuff here in a little bit. I want to run this by you, and you tell me why this hasn't happened. M-Rock icon.
Rock.
Let me ask you this. Why have we not lined up the Super Bowl with President's Day?
Great question. So you could have a day off after.
It's set up for it. We've got President's Day in 2 weeks. Now, originally, President's Day was February 22nd for George Washington's birthday. Okay? But in the early 70s, when it became adopted as a holiday, it became all President's Day, not just Washington's birthday.
All of them.
So, like, Lincoln is February 12th, is his birthday. Why don't you just line up the Super Bowl or President's Day? Nobody cares what day President's Day is. Like, before I said it was Washington's birthday, how many people out there would have known that that they were trying to be close to it being Washington's birthday? Of course, private school. Normal humans I'm talking about. Like,
colonial American history minor, no big deal.
Right. Like, why don't you just make the Monday after the Super Bowl President's Day? Problem solved.
Phenomenal. Cosign. I'm in.
You got this day just floating out here in February. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
People get it off.
You're moving.
Let's go.
You continue to move the Super Bowl further into February.
Well, you're going to get there. When you go to the 18th game, you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Because
so
that will get you
not?
to President's Day will be the Monday after the Super Bowl, and then you'll have Nirvana. But why did it take that? Why didn't they just move President's Day to the Monday after the Super Bowl 20 years ago and get rid of all of this? Everybody knows it sucks having to go to work the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, all the nonsense.
I had somebody ask me today, well, what's your advice on cocktailing for the Super Bowl, Bengals fan? I said, mix in a water. You're likely going to have to work the next day, man. Like,
why do you think the Super Bowl, and what's the Super Bowl's kick time?
It's like 6, right?
Yeah. 6:20, which is okay.
And you have a 45-minute halftime.
It ends up being a long. I almost think they should maybe like bump it up a little bit, put in that 4:30 window.
Well, because what they want is the network partner wants to launch a new television show at the end of the Super Bowl. So that's when American Idol launched. So they want to launch it at 10 o'clock. They want to time it up to where if it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever it is, really doesn't matter, so long as that what is on exactly after the Super Bowl is a new show that they're trying to launch.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Have you ever?
Never.
Same.
Never. Not once.
Never watched a show that is being launched after a Super Bowl. Super Bowl, you're toast.
And I don't think anybody does. My theory on it is that nobody turns the channel.
So the ratings just.
So the ratings are huge still.
Still running.
The meter's still running because people just leave the game on, and they go about their business. They go to bed. The guests leave. Whatever.
TV's all over.
TV's
all
running
over the country.
Putting the kids to bed, and the TVs are still running. That's my theory on why it happens. But they have. I mean, that's what you do. Didn't CSI launch after, like, or maybe not CSI, but those type of shows, I know Idol did. I know Idol launched after the Super Bowl. That was always a big spot. Like Kimmel launched his show, that launched after the Super Bowl. Like Warren Sapp was.
That's
his
like a
first
late
guest.
night show, though. That I understand.
But I mean, think how late that would have even been on.
Sure. Yeah.
By the time you get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was in the local news game, we used to have to if the Super Bowl's on our network that year on our channel. Even if you were the main people, like the Monday through Friday people, you would have to work Super Bowl Sunday because we'd have all these eyes on us as never before.
Oh. Ratings.
Great.
Bonanza.
And it's in February ratings period. Oh, everyone's going to be watching now. Really? It's an hour and a half after the Super Bowl ended. You sure about that? On a Sunday night, Coach. On a Sunday night. But we'll get there. You're going to get a President's Day Super Bowl coming up here in just a bit. All right, a little bit later, we'll get into the coaching vacancies around the league. Cynthia Frelund, great friend of the program, she will join us next on some of the Super Bowl odds that she likes. Have a little fun on that side of things coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you're going to become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Time to head out on the hotline for a visit with our great friend Cynthia Frelund, NFL Network analytics expert. Cynthia, does it feel like the Super Bowl to you? Does it hit home to you? We were saying without the media day, it kind of feels a little different. Where are you with it?
Well, it's weird because, we work at SoFi Stadium.
Right.
So you're going in and out, and like all the traffic is terrible. So it kind of feels like a really big concert, but it hasn't. I don't know. It feels a little weird, but LA is very spread out to begin with, so maybe it's because of that. I don't know. But I'm hoping it feels a little more like normal soon here. Maybe just because it's Tuesday too.
Yeah, I was just curious. It's interesting you mentioned the LA and how spread out it is. How are they setting it up logistically? From a if you go there as a fan and you want to do everything, what's that going to be like?
So there's a lot of the a Super Bowl experience and Radio Row or whatever's kind of left of it. That's not quite the normal Radio Row. Is downtown, like where the Lakers play. So it's really far away from the stadium, which is about 16 miles. Right near the airport is where the stadium is. So it's very they're in very different locations. So I haven't been downtown yet to check anything out there. I'm going to go down there on Thursday, but it's pretty far. So the stadium operations, I can tell you there is so much, it's so interesting to see how they've got